This is Sky News Today. It's 10 o'clock. Here are the headlines. President Biden insists he is fit for office as his memory is called into question.
My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I become president. None of you thought I could pass any of the things I got passed. How'd that happen?
Also ahead, in an American television interview, President Putin indicates he's open to negotiations with the West on ending the war in Ukraine. Sky News reports on the epidemic of violence against prison officers with a warning that the situation will only get worse. Independent candidates backed by the former Prime Minister Imran Khan appear to be leading in Pakistan's general election. And sent off to the sin bin, how blue cards could soon be introduced in football. A very good morning. President Biden has angrily rejected suggestions that he is an elderly man with a poor memory. Those accusations were levied in a report into the mishandling of classified documents when he was vice president. While he was cleared of criminal responsibility, issues were raised about his ability to remember important events. Our US correspondent Mark Stone has all the details.
President Biden arrived back at the White House early last night into a personal storm, which would within a few hours become worse still.
Can we ask you about the special counsel's claims about your memory?
He knew that he'd need to address the release of an extraordinary assessment by a Justice Department special counsel of his state of mind. It had been published a couple of hours earlier, a report detailing why Joe Biden would not be charged for holding classified documents at his Delaware home. But the lack of charges was not the story. The story was him. Mr. Biden's memory was significantly limited. He did not remember when he was vice president, wrote the Justice Department's special counsel about interviews with the president. He did not remember even within several years when his son Beau died. And his memory appeared hazy when describing the Afghanistan debate that was once so important to him. And as for why he wouldn't be facing charges, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury, as he did during our interview of him, as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. It's been made all the more awkward because it's not been a good week, mixing up French presidents.
And Mitterrand from France looked at me and said,
and forgetting who Israel is fighting in Gaza.
Said, there's been a response from there's been a response from the opposition.
Awkward to watch and already raising questions before this report's release.
3 times in just a couple days, the president getting the name of a leader wrong and referencing somebody who is deceased.
In meetings with the president, how often does he confuse names?
Not to belabor the point, but how would you describe the president's overall health?
By 7:30 last night, he knew he needed to take back control, or try to. A news conference announced with just 30 minutes notice.
My memory is not good. My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I become president.
Defiance.
There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How in the hell dare he raise that?
But hardly control. Then, without explanation, he chose to return to the podium to talk about Gaza, and in doing so undermined all he had just said.
Initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate.
More mix-ups, the presidents of Mexico and Egypt. And so the questions about his fitness for office and decision to run again have in a few short hours been supercharged.
Well, Mark has this further analysis for us.
Well, to say this was an awkward day for the president really is an understatement. It was an awful day, and he made it even worse at the very end with that Mexico-Egypt slip-up. Look, there have been questions for a long time about his fitness, but he has a regular medical and his doctors say he is fine. Really, though, I think this is about perception as much as anything else, and it's a perception now underlined by this report from the special counsel. On the right of politics, they've been calling his fitness for office into question for ages. I think the thing to watch now is how his own side reacts. They cannot ignore this. The thing is, though, there is no mechanism in America at this stage in an election campaign to switch candidates. He wants to run. He's the candidate on the ballot in the primaries, which are already underway. The other thing, of course, is how this looks beyond America in a world where there is so much uncertainty right now. American leadership has been undermined in a very personal way.
Well, the US has warned Israel that staging a military offensive in the southern Gaza city of Rafah without proper planning would be a disaster. Last night, President Biden said that Israel's military response had been over the top in defending itself against Hamas.
I'm of the view, as you know, that the conduct of the response in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip, has been over the top. There are a lot of innocent people who are starving, a lot of innocent people who are in trouble and dying, and it's got to stop.
Our military analyst, Sean Bell, is with me. Very good morning.
Good morning, Sam.
Nice to see you today. President Netanyahu has talked about a total victory. It's been long reported that his Western allies are losing patience with his military operation in Gaza. Is this possible within a matter of months? And what does victory actually look like? Because many experts seem to think that the objectives are impossible.
Yeah, good morning, Sam. I mean, Hamas is no match militarily for the Israeli Defence Force. So ultimately, the Israeli force will prevail. The question is, what are the metrics of success? As you say, you can clear all of the above ground space, but actually Hamas could just blend in with the local civilians. They could flee and then recover later or hide in the tunnel network. Now, it does look as if Rafah's going to be next. Phase 1 was up in the north. You can see the coloured area. Largely, the IDF have taken that. Then they moved to Khan Yunis, which is largely, there's still some ground offensive going on there. But of course, all that time, all the population have been squeezed down to the south, following the Israelis' instructions. There's now over 1 million people down in Rafah, 2 square mile tent city down there. And we've heard that inevitably they've started the ground offensive there. Now, the problem there is when you're doing a military operation, how on earth in that crowded area are the IDF going to discriminate civilians from Hamas fighters to the hostages?
That's been a key question throughout.
No, exactly. And an air campaign would inevitably just result in significantly more casualties. Now, also reports suggest that 80% of Hamas's tunnels are still in Hamas's hands. And therefore, answering your original question, is victory, well, you'll never get a total victory. The question is how much you manage to achieve. And at the moment, Prime Minister Netanyahu seems hell-bent on pursuing it all the way to the end of Rafah.
And key to that is who decides, what is enough for Israel to admit, to either say, right, okay, that's it now, we've done enough. Mounting pressure, isn't there, on Netanyahu, not just domestically, but from the international community. How long do you think he's going to actually be given to do this?
Well, this is a huge question, isn't it? I think what we're seeing is gradually...
That's what we do here. We do huge questions.
No, but I mean, at the start of this campaign, both the US and the UK get unequivocal support to Israel to do what it needs to do. The language is changing significantly now. Netanyahu said that it's going to be sometime this year. He's actually changed that language to be a series of months. But as you say, patience wearing thin. Biden reckoned the response so far has been over the top. Interesting, former First Lady Hillary Clinton talked about Netanyahu being untrustworthy and needing to go. That doesn't sound like the language of consummate support that we've seen before. And interestingly, last night the US did more strikes against Houthi rebels. There were 11 targets struck, 4 drones were struck, 7 anti-ship missiles. And it just shows that together with the growing anti-US sentiment in Syria and Iraq, particularly Iraq at the moment, it's really difficult. And that's why there's huge effort by the US to try to pause this. And of course, if the ground offensive continues, the real question from a military perspective, what will be achieved? Will they actually exterminate Hamas? Will Israel be a safer place? And what price will the Palestinians in Gaza pay for the next phase of the operation?
The other key objective, as far as Israel is concerned, is to get the hostages back. What does all of this mean? I mean, they've been held since the 7th of October. It's a very long time.
It has, and they've sort of fallen off our radar every now and again. But if you do the maths, there's about 84 hostages that we believe are still alive somewhere in Gaza. Negotiation has proved to be absolutely the best way to secure their release. That's when the vast majority of the releases happened so far. Since then, far more have died than have actually been negotiated release. So the focus, undoubtedly, the reports yesterday that negotiations are still ongoing, even though Netanyahu wanted to stop them. But there are even reports that Yahya Sinwar, the head of Hamas, might be offered an opportunity to leave and go into exile. But if phase 3 gets underway, if the main offensive of the Israelis gets underway, I have to say the prospects for the remaining hostages do look tremendously bleak.
Right. Sean, thank you very much for your analysis. Now, in his first interview with a Western journalist since invading Ukraine, Vladimir Putin has called for negotiations with the West to end the war. Speaking to the US talk show host Tucker Carlson, the Russian president insisted he has no interest in expanding into NATO countries. Our US correspondent Martha Kellner reports.
And to American ears, that sounds paranoid.
In a grand room inside the Kremlin, this is Vladimir Putin's first interview with a Western journalist since he invaded Ukraine. But the interviewer in question is Tucker Carlson, a right-wing commentator fired from Fox News. He, a peddler of disinformation and a vocal critic of America's support of Ukraine. The tone of this conversation, well, cosy.
Are we having a talk show or a serious conversation?
Here's the quote. Thank you. It's a formidable series.
But Putin was allowed to speak for 30 minutes about the history of Eastern Europe, beginning in the 9th century. Coaxed back by Carlson to the modern day and the war in Ukraine, Putin was more direct than usual, saying he envisages the war ending not with a military victory, but a deal with the West.
Wouldn't it be better to negotiate with Russia? Make an agreement, already understanding the situation that is developing today, realizing that Russia will fight for its interests to the end, and realizing this, actually return to common sense, start respecting our country and its interests.
The imprisonment of this man, Evan Gershkovich, produced the most combative part of the interview. The Wall Street Journal reporter has been held in a Moscow jail for nearly a year, Carlson calling for his release.
Maybe he was breaking your law in some way, but he's not a super spy, and everybody knows that.
We have done so many gestures of goodwill out of decency that I think we have run out of them. I also want him to return to his homeland at last. I'm absolutely sincere.
After 2 hours, this still read like a PR exercise for both men. For Carlson, a moneymaker, and for Putin, a platform to deliver a monologue to America.
Shall we end here, or is there anything else?
Martha Kellner, Sky News.
No, I think that's good.
Well, we can bring in our security and defence editor, Deborah Haynes. Morning, Deborah. President Putin there thinking he's going to get a deal with the West over the war in Ukraine. Well, what's your analysis?
Well, it was a pretty softball interview, wasn't it? Tucker Carlson was trying to make the point that he's managing to go where no other American journalist has gone before since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine almost 2 years ago. But that's not for want of trying by all manner of American media organizations, as well as British media organizations. The Kremlin media management is tightly handled, and so it was no coincidence that it was an interviewer that might not ask the more difficult questions that was given that opportunity. And it did provide President Putin, like you said, with this platform to offer his analysis, his view of the war in Ukraine, his justification for it, which is obviously fiercely contested and denied by Ukraine and its Western allies. And when President Putin says that he has no interest in expanding his war effort beyond Ukraine's borders into potentially NATO territory, like Poland or Latvia, no one is going to take his words saying that he is not interested in that kind of thing seriously, because You'll remember that President Putin, before launching this full-scale invasion, which he hasn't allowed to be called a war for a long time, was denying that he'd be interested in military action inside Ukraine. He also denied from the very beginning. Remember, this war didn't start 2 years ago. It started 10 years ago when Russian forces invaded and captured Crimea. That was an operation that Putin denied was even happening until it became a fait accompli. So his words will not be taken on face value. However, the fact that he is talking about his willingness to negotiate comes at a time of real pressure for Ukraine. We had only yesterday the president announcing this extraordinary change at the top of his military, removing the head of the armed forces, General Valery Zaluzhny, and replacing him with another experienced strong man, but not someone who has the same kind of popularity as General Zaluzhny. That is quite a destabilizing moment, and also looking to allies. The United States, Ukraine's most important backer, still hasn't agreed the latest package, massive package of military aid that Ukraine will need as it continues this war effort.
Deborah, thank you. Well, let's bring you some of the day's other news now. A High Court judge is set to rule on costs as part of the Duke of Sussex's claim against Mirror Group newspapers. A group of claimants, including Prince Harry, are seeking nearly £2 million from the newspaper publisher to pay for the legal costs of a phone hacking case. The families of the 3 victims of a stabbing in Nottingham will today meet with the Care Quality Commission and the Crown Prosecution Service. It follows the sentencing of Valdo Calacane and whether the families of the victims were properly consulted before a judge accepted his guilty plea to manslaughter on the basis of diminished responsibility. The Metropolitan Police has been criticised for failing to effectively deal with child sexual exploitation. A watchdog has warned the force is not currently effective in responding to such issues and is not doing enough to protect victims. Barclays has agreed to buy the retail banking business of Tesco Bank. It's a deal worth around £600 million. Under the terms, Barclays will acquire most aspects of the supermarket's banking arm, including credit cards, personal loans, and 2,800 members of staff. Tesco says that the deal will help reduce its debts, strengthen its balance sheets, and help it focus on its core retail business. Now, Donald Trump has cruised to an easy win in the Republican caucus in Nevada, facing no major competition. It puts him in a very strong position to be chosen to represent his party in the presidential election later this year. His strongest rival in the Republican race, Nikki Haley, chose not to compete in Nevada. Early election results in Pakistan have the country's former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif edging ahead. It comes as several independent candidates, backed by another of the country's former Prime Ministers, Imran Khan, secured dozens of victories. Mr. Khan, meanwhile, is currently in prison. He's been disqualified for running in the election in charges he claims are politically motivated. Well, the votes are still being counted in Pakistan, but let's take a closer look now at some of the key figures. The former Prime Minister and cricketer Imran Khan is still the most popular politician in the country. Now, early results show dozens of victories for independent candidates who are backed by the former Prime Minister. Meanwhile, the 3-time former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is back on the ballot after being banned from running in 2018 over a corruption scandal. This morning, his aides suggested he'd be willing to go into a coalition government with independent candidates. And Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is the son of former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto and the former President Asif Ali Zardar. He is the chairman of the Pakistan People's Party. He is also a strong contender. Our Asia correspondent Cordelia Lynch has all the latest for us now from Islamabad.
Well, they say that Pakistan is full of surprises, and this morning is no different. People are waking up to the news that the PTI, the party of Imran Khan, the cricketer turned politician, are claiming a landslide victory in this year's election. He is still in jail and his supporters were forced to run as independents, but they say they've had a huge turnout, lots of young people, lots of women coming out to support him. But the official results, which are on the board behind me, have been pretty slow to emerge, and they show a tighter race between independents and the PPP. That's the party of Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. He's a centrist. What is interesting is at the top of the leaderboard, there is not mention of Nawaz Sharif. Now, he's the man that many believed the military wanted in power to lead the country. So what does all this show us? And, we've still got a lot of time to see where these results fall. It certainly raises the prospect of the possibility, at least, of a hung parliament. Now, this is a country that's had a spiralling economy, it's had a growing terrorism threat. It needs stability. Will a hung parliament deliver that? Well, there's a lot of doubt around that. There's a lot of concern as well about vote rigging. People believe that there's been tampering with results overnight. We'll have to wait for the result. But a big surprise for Pakistan to see independents and Imran Khan's followers come out in such large numbers.
Violence against prison officers is soaring as the prison estate comes under increasing pressure due to a lack of staff. A new report that's been seen by Sky News is warning that without major reform, what it's calling the epidemic of violence against prison officers will only get worse. Our political correspondent Amanda Akas has spoken to one officer who suffered life-changing injuries after an inmate attack. A warning: her report does contain graphic images and references to suicide.
Assistant Dorset! Beachborough!
I thought I was going to die. 100%.
Where are you?
Prison officer Martin Geddes was ambushed by an inmate who'd called him to his cell.
He sucker punched me, grabbed me, pulled me into the cell, got hold of my baton, and that's the last thing I remember until I came round with the cell full of officers and my friend thinking my throat had been cut because there was that much blood.
Healthcare, we need healthcare!
I suffered a 10-inch laceration to the back of my head requiring 10 staples.
This body-worn footage from officers at Guy's Marsh Prison in Dorset was shown during the trial of the inmate involved, who's been convicted and sent to a secure hospital. 3 years on, Martin still suffers from searing headaches and says it's had a catastrophic impact on his mental health.
The flashbacks were 40 or 50 a day. Of the last image I remember was my baton fully extended above my head. Suicidal thoughts. If it hadn't been for my partner Alison, I would definitely have taken my own life.
The number of prison officers facing attacks at work across both public and private prisons has been rising rapidly since the pandemic. The latest government figures show prison officers were attacked more than 8,500 times over the past year. That works out at 23 attacks per day, and it's an increase of 16% on the previous 12-month period. The Community Trade Union, representing staff at private prisons, warns that without generational reform across the justice system, the violence will get worse. They're calling for all political parties to commit to higher staffing levels, greater support and better pay.
One of our members had boiling hot water poured all over her with sugar, and you can only imagine the impact that has had on her and those life-changing injuries. And we hear stories like that far too often. One is too many, never mind 1 in 4 of our members saying they have been assaulted at work. Action has to be taken to prevent and stamp out assaults.
Sir Bob Neal, the Conservative chair of the Justice Select Committee, agrees major reform is needed and says the problems link back to a lack of investment in prisons and staff combined with longer sentences.
Overcrowding means that very often you have got restricted regimes, there's a lack of any purposeful activity. That leads to frustration, and often that's directed at the staff, that are having to try and contain this, when in some cases they're short-numbered, because we at the same time have a problem with retention of experienced staff.
The Ministry of Justice say the overall level of assaults is still 10% lower than before the pandemic, but violence is never tolerated, so they've increased the maximum penalty for assaulting prison officers and invested £100 million on tough new security measures. But for Martin, it's just not enough.
It's a job I absolutely loved doing, I really did, but I would never go back. I've had to resign, so I just don't feel safe on a landing anymore. Go on in. Go.
Until that changes, the cycle of overcrowding, understaffing and violence looks set to continue. Amanda Akas, Sky News.
Well, we'd like to add that if you've been affected by anything in that report, you can contact the Samaritans on 116 123, or you can email them joe@samaritans.org. You're watching Sky News Today. Do stay with us. Coming up, after claims he was unable to recall key events during an investigation into the mishandling of secret files, more questions arise over the memory of the US President Joe Biden. Plus, sent off to the sin bin. Could blue cards soon be introduced to football? And lava from a volcano in South Iceland appears to be easing after erupting for the third time since December.
Day one of the satellite revolution.
Living Downing Street.
Stabbed to death.
Rainbow Nation.
Not guilty.
Diana, Princess of Wales.
I did not. What a sight.
A wall of water.
Another incident.
Stricken mammal. Lehman's collapse. God bless you.
Oil to gush.
Freedom. London Olympic. Do you feel scared?
Great again.
It's breaking news. Just bring you some breaking news we're getting.
And I'm Sky News' arts and entertainment correspondent. When you think of Glastonbury, it's Margie Want and music. They're going to cross to us live in a minute.
Okay.
We always were capable of doing this.
Oh, they're wonderful children as an audience.
Who did that?
Maverick here on the red carpet. I'm so excited.
Hello.
We take you to the heart of the stories that shape our world.
Nor have I ever struck any woman in my life.
There's this illusion of power.
Are you feeling well?
I remember covering the Oscars and that now infamous moment, the Will Smith slap. You can tell from these crowds just how excited people are for the return of Fly.
These actors playing the lead roles were born long after the Sex Pistols broke up.
As a team, we've interviewed some of the biggest stars in the world.
Okay, I'll talk to you.
Don't leave me.
Yeah, okay.
There's no easy goodies. There's no easy baddies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Welcome back. The Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, has defended his party's plans to scale back its pledge to spend £28 billion a year on green projects. The Shadow Business Secretary spoke with Sky News earlier this morning and backed the decision.
This figure had come to dominate the argument rather than what it is about achieving. And specifically, look, when that pledge was first made, interest rates were 0.1%. They're over 5% today. I'm afraid that does have an impact on both your cost of borrowing and on servicing the existing levels of debt. And if you look, however, within those challenges about what Labour has put forward on industrial policy, on green steel, on making the investments through a national wealth fund in electric batteries for vehicles, in terms of GB Energy, in terms of getting a jobs bonus so we get the jobs as well as the clean energy. This is the most ambitious agenda still of any party that's been in opposition that would come to power to deliver it.
Well, we're supposed to be getting some analysis on that from our political correspondent, but he can't hear us at the moment. So we're going to bring you the weather and then hope to go back to Rob Powell.
Warm memories wherever you go. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Well, a messy transition is underway as milder and wetter weather pushes north, bringing a risk of snow and ice to parts of Scotland. A band of rain, sleet and hill snow will push northwards across central parts of the British Isles today, with wintry showers in the far north. It'll feel quite cold in the bitter easterly wind. Further south, it's milder but rather cloudy, with scattered showers, some on the heavy side. Brighter spells will develop across southern parts of Ireland, South Wales and southern England through the afternoon. Meanwhile, any snow further north will become increasingly confined to Scottish hills.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Now, a volcano in South Iceland has erupted for the third time now since December. Let's take a look at latest pictures here. People in the nearby town of Grindavik, they'd already left the area, while Iceland's famous Blue Lagoon thermal spa also had to be evacuated. Authorities have been urging local residents to use hot water and electricity sparingly after lava had reached a pipeline on the peninsula. The frequency of eruptions is having an impact, of course, as you'd expect, on Iceland's economy, with more eruptions likely.
This is going to have a heavy impact, of course, on the town of Grindavik, for example. It's empty now, and the Blue Lagoon had to be evacuated yesterday very quickly. It has heavy impact on the economy. Iceland is not a big society, so to speak. All in all, we have been, in my view, rather successful in combating these disasters. But there is probably much more to come. So in reality, we will have to take things as they come, one after another. And this could last for decades, even longer time.
Well, as promised, we're going to now get some analysis with Rob Powell, whom I'm told can now hear me, on Labour's climate climb down. Morning to you, Rob. We put the Shadow Business Secretary through his paces, didn't we, this morning? But this climate pledge, the 28 billion, has been a real millstone in some ways, hasn't it, for Labour? Not just people who disagree with the policy, but in how they've sort of backed it steadfastly, despite opposition and questions about where that money's going to come from.
Yeah, there's been a degree of mixed messaging, I think, Sam. The actual 28 billion figure in that pledge, I think that's been in retreat for quite some time. It obviously got watered down by Rachel Reeves last year, I think it was, and since then has sort of been gradually eroded until it was fully put in the bin at 5 p.m. yesterday afternoon. I think if you're sat in Labour HQ this morning, you are hoping that you sort of made enough of a screeching U-turn yesterday that voters and the public realise that you're not going to spend this scary large amount of money after all. And then you sort of hope that you move through the painful set of front pages this morning, and by the time you get to the general election, everything has been forgotten about and people aren't talking about it anymore. Now, that might partly be true, but I think it's probably an optimistic forecast of what could happen. And I say that because I don't think this is the type of sort of out-of-the-blue shock U-turn that has the potential to really cause severe political damage for the party or for the leader. We've known this has been coming for quite some time, quite frankly. But I think what this does do is sort of add to that incremental sense and that growing list of things Sir Keir Starmer seems to have changed his mind on in the last few years. And that is how it will be painted in part by the Conservatives, I think. They will try and stitch it together with some of those other U-turns as they see them, and try and portray that image of someone that doesn't really stand for anything, isn't prepared to fight for principles, and as they would put it, doesn't have a plan. That's one part of it. Clearly Labour would deny that and say that, look, they're just responding to events and the economic situation that they may well be left with by the government, by the Tories, if they are to make it into power. I think the other risk here is that the Tories have now sort of turned their attack machine from the £28 billion figure and to that broader pledge that Labour is keeping, which is the 2030 clean power objective, decarbonising the electricity system by 2030. And essentially what they're trying to say is they're still keeping that. That's going to cost a lot of money, so they're still going to spend a lot of cash, and that's going to mean taxes are going up. Look, in part that's correct. It will cost a lot of money. But I think the irony here is that the Conservatives have quite a similar pledge, clean power by 2035, so just 5 years later. So I think this is when you read some of the sort of criticism from green groups and climate campaigners, and they say the great irony of all of this is that if we're to hit some of these climate goals, especially net zero by 2050, both parties are going to need to spend more money. So I think that's why the actual figures here are less important than the messaging it sends out. And Labour has clearly decided that the most important message it wants to push out to voters in the run-up to the general election is about being careful with how it spends money, and it will prioritise that message even if it means adding to vulnerabilities around the decisiveness of Sir Keir Starmer and how steady he is as a leader.
Rob, thank you. It was worth waiting for. Meanwhile, President Biden has dismissed questions about his memory after an investigation into the mishandling of classified documents raised concerns over his ability to remember important events. Well, when these concerns were put to him at a news conference, he defended his memory, even getting angry with reporters.
President Biden, something the special counsel said in his report is that one of the reasons you were not charged is because, in his description, you are a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
I'm well-meaning, and I'm an elderly man, and I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been president. I put this country back on its feet. I don't need his recommendation. It's
How
totally
bad is your memory, and can you continue as president?
My memory is so bad I let you speak. That's
your memory has gotten worse, Mr. President?
My memory is not good. My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I become president. None of you thought I could pass any of the things I got passed. How'd that happen? You know, I guess I just forgot what was going on.
For months when you were asked about your age, you would respond with the words, "Watch me." Well, many American people have been watching, and they have expressed concerns about your age.
That is your judgment. That is your judgment. That is not the judgment of the press.
They expressed concerns about your mental acuity. They say that you are too old. Mr. President, in December, you told me that you believe there are many other Democrats who could defeat Donald Trump. So why does it have to be you now? What is your answer?
Because I'm the most qualified person in this country to be president of the United States and finish the job I started.
Well, these questions follow a recent trend of slip-ups from the president, where he's mixed up world leaders, both living and dead, and forgot who is fighting who in different wars.
And Mitterrand from France looked at me and said initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate. There's been a response from there's been a response. Well, Mr. President, I just demoted you, Mr. Prime Minister.
To what extent has Vladimir Putin been weakened by recent events?
It's hard to tell, but he's clearly losing the war in Iraq. He's losing the war at home.
Well, joining me now, Professor of US Politics at University College Dublin's Clinton Foundation, Professor Scott Lucas. Professor Lucas, good to see you this morning. An elderly man with poor memory, it feels like that's going to stick. What do you think?
One important correction, it's the Clinton Institute, not the Clinton Foundation. It's a distinct body, and you'll get a lot of Twitter response if you say Clinton Foundation. Now, on the facts, I, as an analyst, not as a Democrat or Republican, not as a supporter or critic of Joe Biden or Donald Trump, I'm furious this morning. I'm furious for two reasons. First, the special counsel has made a political intervention in a legal report that was not necessary. The gist of the report, if anybody reads the 212 pages, is there's insufficient evidence that you should prosecute Joe Biden over classified documents, given that there's only one box of documents in question, as well as some of Biden's notebooks. But instead of focusing on that, the special counsel slips in a line talking about Biden's poor memory, probably knowing that that's going to cause a political firestorm. And then the second reason why I'm completely unsettled by this is by the media feeding frenzy that follows, where you get a lot of things which are taken out of context. So, for example, I doubt many people will watch the 12-minute Biden press conference that took place. He actually was very forceful in that press conference. He covered a lot of ground, including over the report, including over Israel and Gaza. He spent 2.5 minutes talking very much about where we are in Israel and Gaza and a possible ceasefire. But the one line, and you've replayed it in your introduction, was where he did make a slip and referred to President Sisi, El-Sisi, as being president of Mexico rather than Egypt. Now, that's a mistake that can be made. But in this case, I would make the argument that it didn't show mental deficiency. It's just a guy who slipped up on a place, as I have done in doing interviews on television before. Are there questions about Biden's competence and responsibility? Yes. But there are also questions, if we're going to play goose and gander, about Donald Trump as well.
Yeah, we'll come on to that. I mean, but you say there he misspoke effectively. I think what critics will say is that he misspeaks too often.
Oh, look, I can think of other presidents who misspoke a lot at times, such as a guy named George W. Bush, who said people keep misunderestimating him. People do make slip-ups.
He was world leaders, though, did he?
What? Woolies? Oh, yeah. You had Bush actually got statements confused at certain points. You had Donald Trump, when he was president, making up an entire African country called Nambia. So it happens. The question here is, on the substance of the issues, if we talk about issues, did what Biden say about Israel and Gaza make sense yesterday? When Biden talks about the fact that he presided over an administration with a lot of legislative achievements in the first 3.5 years, is that true? On the issues that should matter to Americans, the economy, foreign policy, women's rights, LGBT rights, immigration, climate change, does Biden show competence and responsibility? Does Donald Trump show competence and responsibility? But because the Sleepy Joe line is the one that the media continues to get led by, not just because Biden slips up, because that's the attack line of the right-wingers and the Trumpists, we avoid talking about the issues and we get the white noise, such as you and I are discussing right now.
Yeah, and we mustn't forget, as I said, we were going to come on to talk about Trump. He is facing very many criminal charges.
He's facing very many criminal charges, 91 felony charges in 4 different cases. He is now convicted of sexual assault in a civil case. He has been convicted of fraud in a civil case. But just to get back to this question about memory, who is the man who had to take a cognitive knowledge test, in other words, to show that he was still basically functioning while he was president? Well, that was the guy, Donald Trump, who had to have the famous test about whether he could distinguish between an elephant and a whale and repeat the words person, man, woman, and television. Of course, Donald Trump didn't say that was a cognitive.
There was a camera in there as well, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Let's not forget that.
So my memory's better than yours.
Yeah, and see, that's what I told you. Even here as an analyst, I can get the right wingers coming at me. Why are you having that senile old guy talking to you from a living room in Ireland, right? To get back to this, I think it's...
Professor Lucas, let's come. I know you don't want to dwell on it because you think the media is making too big a thing of it, but it's out there. People are talking about it. They've been talking about it for 4 years in some cases. Do you think that he has the mental acuity to execute the role of President of the United States for another 4 years?
It will be up to the voters to decide, but if you're being an analyst and being responsible in the media, who is the man who presided over the Coronavirus Relief Act? Who is the man who presided over the Infrastructure Act? Who presided over the Build Back Better Act for a green economy, for significant and necessary changes in American healthcare? Who is the guy who actually did a tour
Is that because he surrounds himself by good people, and actually a lot of the decision making is sort of done almost by very close committee around him rather than residing purely with the man himself?
Yeah, but it is some presidents actually do that they actually surround themselves with the good people and they let those people make the hard decisions and then they represent the administration. A guy named Dwight David Eisenhower in the 1950s, who was U.S. president, was criticized for being too aloof, was criticized for not being engaged enough.
SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenating, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and the Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Welcome.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands, the hand that made me who I am.
my heart beat. You make a dawn fade, and that's what makes you great. You are God. You will never change. You remain the same till the end. Till the end. You are God. One who took my pain, took away my shame. Lord, you reign. That's why forever God you reign. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Greatly to be praised.
Okay, let me say a massive good morning, good afternoon, and good noon to you wherever you might be on planet Earth and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Friday edition of the morning show. I am Archie, and from now till 12:30, time permits that, I'm going to bring you everything that you need to know, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar. So wherever you are, stay tuned and don't touch the dial. Apologies once again for the late start of the program. We're doing a lot of things here to make sure that everything that you need, you want, when it comes to news and everything, you get it right on point. So let me say good morning to HRH, Linda Palian, wherever you are this morning. Good morning to you. My regards to Yasantua and Mr. Palian as well. And let me take also massive good morning to KB Bossman. It was nice chatting with you today, this morning. To my able producer, Mr. Francis Gayi, good morning. Olakunle, good morning. My colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Olayomi Koike, massive good morning to you. Anthony Dedeji Aziz, Pastor Momo and Bishop Adeshina. I salute each and every one of you. Let me put it this way, all protocol observed, and welcome to the Friday edition of the morning show. Mr. John Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services and Money Man, I salute you and I say welcome to the program. Let's crack on. The quote for the day says what? Don't be in a hurry to perform, rather be in a hurry to prepare. The preparation is one most important thing. Because of ill preparedness, we go to events, we go for tournaments, we go to when opportunities come our way, we are not able to deliver on it. So take lots of time to prepare before you go in to perform. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, when it comes to the weather front, what have I got for you? Let me tell you what I've got for you when it comes to the weather front. For London and the southeastern part of England, this is how the weather is going to be for you. We're going to be seeing this afternoon rather cloudy day with longer spells of showery rain looking to drift in from the southwest. This locally heavy, some with tender. Now tonight will be largely dry, cloudy with the odd lingering patch of light rain in places during early hours. It will remain largely dry, but some clear spells will also develop. There's going to be moderate winds expected as well. So get yourself ready for that. Top temperature is going to be 13 degrees. The lowest is going to be 7 degrees. UV level low, pollution low. Sunset 17:04 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:26 hours. For Saturday, it's going to be a mixture of cloud and sunshine. Top temperature 12 degrees, the lowest 6 degrees. And then come Sunday, it's going to be cloudy with a bit of rain here and there. Top temperature 10 degrees, the lowest 3 degrees. A bit milder than usual this time of the year. But wherever you are, it is Starr Radio UK. Now let me take you straight to the travel updates as well. So for those of you traveling on the underground this morning, Central Line has got minor delays. Metropolitan Line part suspension. That aside, all the others are running a good service. The DLR, London Tramlink, and London Overground, good service. Also, on the major roads in London, Central London red routes are experiencing some serious delays, so if you can avoid it, do your best to do so. All the others have no exceptional delays there. The London River Bus riding a good service, London Cable Car good service there as well. That brings us straight to the final segment of the travel updates. So on the National Rail this morning, Chiltern Railways, Cross Country, Great Western Railway, Island Line, London North Eastern Railway, Northern Rail, and ScotRail have all got minor delays. Also, Southern has got special service. That aside, all the others are running a good service, and that is why I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes where? On the road.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenating, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
You are listening to Starr Radio Morning Show. Archie on Starr Radio. Nobody does it better.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 4 minutes past the top of the hour, and it is the Friday edition of the morning show. So wherever you are listening to us from, I just wanted to keep your dial so logged on Starr Radio UK. Don't touch the dial, but share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. Okay. Kojodi, good morning to you. My brother Felix all the way in Aberdeen. I salute you as well. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Okay. Now, when it comes to the stories that is making the rounds this morning, let's start from Nigeria. List of Nigerians who died during AFCON match against South Africa has been released, and Betta Edu Speaker Abbas speaks on corruption allegation against Gbajabiamila, and Senate uncovers $400 million intervention funds lying dormant in banks. Okay, interesting. Hardship, don't embark on strike. Tinubu government begs NLC and TUC. Well, they've cornered all. This is a checkmate for government. Now, Tinubu orders mandatory national pledge recitation at official events. Oh boy, taking them back to school. And the government orders 100,000 metric tons of grains released once hoarders. And then federal government molds social media regulation to curb abuse. NNPC, CBN to strengthen relationship to guarantee seamless commercial operations. And MTN, Globacom amicably resolve interconnect debt issues, says the NCC. Sorry, is making the round this morning. And then, interesting. The AFCON final, the sports minister is soliciting funds for the Eagles. Do you ever want to say that the state, the country, the federal government cannot actually be able to raise funds for that purpose? What about the wastage, the one-time wastage that goes on? Well, CBN has no magic wand, and Nigerians must moderate demands for dollars to stabilize the forex. Cardoso is saying, that's the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now, Senate begins quizzing of CBN governor. Details are emerging. We'll be telling you more about that, but that's the statement that has come through. Now, moving on straight to some other parts of Africa. 13 people are dead and 27 missing after a boat carrying Sudanese migrants to Europe sank. When you look at that boat, the pictures that are in front of me, it's not something that you think, oh, I want to hop on this boat. But desperate situation calls for desperate measures. And with what is happening in Sudan at the moment, if they don't do anything about it, another influx of migrants from that side is going to be a menace. Let me put it that way, mildly. And then South Africa president defends ANC records in annual State of the Nations address. Well. I know for sure they didn't allow some of the opposition parties to be there. And U.S. and Kenyan defense ministers highlight some of the issues that is going on in the country when it comes to security. Now, crisis in Senegal, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger prompt some actions from leaders in that particular part of the world, and I'll be telling you more about that in a moment. A total solar eclipse is on its way. Where will it appear? I'll be telling you more about that as well. So come your way from Starr Radio. After coups, West African nations hurry to leave the regional bloc that oppose military takeovers. Which are they? Who are they? I'll be telling you more about all that as the program unfolds. In Ghana as well, Ghana can't stand without Ashanti Hene. Without Ashanti, Otunfuwa is saying. That's what Ashanti Hene is saying. So, without Ashanti Kingdom, well, Ghana can't stand. So, as some, should I put it that way, kingdoms or some group of people more important than others. I don't know what our chimps will be saying now. That's where the president hails from. And then, what are the Ghanaians going to be saying? And what about Northerners? What are they going to be saying? The Gonja and all what are they going to be saying? Okay? That'll be quite an interesting one. Oh, the Gwans. The Gwans comprises of the Gonjas, the Chiripons, and the Chiripon. A few of them. Mr. Malik Dramani Mahama, educate me. Don't enter a deal to purchase Airtel or Tigo without parliamentary approval. Minority to investors. Well, they think that the end times are coming, and for them as a party, and therefore they will do anything. Now, health warning issued as Accra air quality hits hazardous levels. Well, it's all road construction and bits that is going on that is causing that. The dust, or is it Hamilton? Well, I'll be telling you more about all that in a moment. So put on your masks there so you don't inhale all those dirt or those dust particles there. Okay. In other stories as well, 2010 appointment letter of John Mahama led economic management team pops up. Well, what did he say at the time? John Kufuor publicly abandons Alan Chairman team after he had an encounter with the vice president. Visiting him, shaking hands with him. Does that mean that he has abandoned Alan Chemating, or is it something just to stoke the fire? Well. Ghana Web fact check upon Nkrumah did say Bawumia was instrumental. A sentiment not above anyone, but I won't allow us to be cheated, Otunfuwa is saying. Okay, so he's not saying that they are not above anyone, but they don't want to be cheated. In what way are they talking about there? Is it where we're saying that resources that is coming from our area, majority of it should be used for us and not for others? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, in other stories making the rounds this morning, the president, Joe Biden, is said to have some memory lapses, but he was saying, my memory is fine. In an interview, and the next moment, he goes on mentioning, calling the the Assisi, who is the Egyptian, I mean, interchanging the names. Assisi is the Egyptian president, and interchanging the name with the Mexican president as well. So what do you think is going on there? And Putin takes charge as Carlson gives free rein to Kremlin. The Russian leader was given the opportunity to expound familiar grievances unchallenged. And well, he's gone on to say, well, the war would have been stopped about 18 months back, but for the British Prime Minister the then British Prime Minister, Bojo, who might have said something during an interview that has caused the whole war to, get to that point. Now, Donald Trump scores huge win in Nevada caucus. Well, there are lots of issues going on. Do you think that Joe Biden is a good candidate? Looking at his age and the fogginess when it comes to his memory, do you think he should be, well, if he's old, let him go and rest. Now, even when he's talking, they have to now do a text thing so that you understand what he's saying exactly. That means that he's not that strong to lead the nation, the party, the nation. However, people are of the view that he can do it. He is of the view that he can do it. Is it that the Democrats have not got a very good candidate who can stand? And especially when you look at Vice President being a female and a mixed as well, there is a tendency, I call it mixed, there's a tendency that they will lose election once this person stands or competes or go head to head with Donald Trump. Is that why he wants to put himself in the shoe in that particular place, especially when we know that cannot? It's very difficult one. Now, 4 dead in clashes over Indian mosque demolition. Now, violence broke out in Uttarakhand state after authorities demolished a mosque, alleging it was illegal. Dramatic area shows lava flow after Iceland eruption. There are some of the stories making the rounds. And Brazil ex-leader Bolsonaro surrenders his passport. What will happen if Trump comes into power? Will he be able to out him? Now, U.S. court skeptical of move to bar Trump from ballot. And some are calling it a failed coup. And I've been saying that, look, if they don't do anything about it, they are setting a bad precedent, and it's just a matter of time we'll have somebody coming on to do whatever they want to do. But what do you think about that? So coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In the UK front as well, Starmer defends U10 on 28 billion green spending. The Labour leader moves to slash green investment plans follows weeks of confusion about the policy. Now, Prince Harry hacking case to hear if more claims are settled. A judge will likely award costs to Harry. Media lawyer is saying, and a judge going through cost of test cases there as well. We'll be telling you more about that. Piers Morgan to move Talk TV show to YouTube. The broadcaster, who has 2.4 million subscribers online, said TV schedules had become a straight jacket. And it's true, because if I'm here on this platform, I can tell you the number of people watching this program. But we want to encourage you to also do your bidding by sharing the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. And I'm so grateful to you. Now, Dover court battles looms over checks for illegal food. Plans to move import inspection 22 miles inland. Risks Britain's biosecurity, Port Health chiefs are saying. So what is the way forward? This is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a musical break. Let me have a sip of water and I'll come back to bring you everything that you need to know. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
It's like my favorite song on this album, y'all. no secret in our world. People like to talk the things they know and the ones they don't. They will spread lies and rumors just to be known. So why are you wasting your time like this? Hearing those things that break your heart. Give no attention, give no thoughts. Cause people talk, but they'll never help you walk. So whenever they speak, look up and you will see a broken pencil and a sheet, and tell them I'm writing names of talkatives. Yeah.
All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
all of
9.
this noise you're making on me.
Teacher, get there when he comes.
Teacher will catch you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
There are many voices in this life, and to be honest, many are not nice. So don't hear something and pick a knife, cause most of these things are nothing but lies. Teacher said be careful how you hear, cause there are talkatives here. They're everywhere. So silence the voices in your head and give no attention to your fears. I'm writing names of talkatives.
All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes.
As for me,
I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
all of
9,
this noise
10,
you're making
11,
on me.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
Teacher
19,
will
20.
get you when he comes. I have a race.
Yeah.
No time to waste.
Can we talk? Can we talk? Call them, say
talkatives.
Do you know any?
Talkatives.
Yeah. Have you met any?
Talkatives.
Can we write some?
Talkatives.
List some names of talkatives. I am going now.
Talkatives.
Yeah. Some friends are.
Talkatives.
Some family members.
Talkatives.
Some landlords are.
Talkatives.
I said your exes are.
Talkatives.
Your exes are.
Talkatives.
Have you known any?
Talkatives.
Move away far from.
Talkatives.
Opinions are.
Talkatives.
Bloggers.
Talkatives.
Social media.
Talkatives.
Old friends.
Talkatives.
Some doctors report are.
Talkatives.
Some symptoms are.
Talkatives.
Addictions are.
Talkatives.
Move away far from.
Talkatives.
People's opinions are.
Talkatives.
You are too fast.
Talkatives.
You are too slow.
Talkatives.
You talk too much.
Talkatives.
You are very quiet.
Talkatives.
Open makeup, dodo.
Talkatives.
Your face is so raw.
Talkatives.
You sing too much.
Talkatives.
You don't sing at all. And the last time I heard they said, are you the one they said you did? Are you sure you know her? She doesn't like me. Me too, I don't like her. All of these things are move away from, run away from, keep some distance from. Do you know any talkative? Have you met any talkative? Do you know any talkative? So move away from yeah. Make your own list of talkative. They will break your heart. Talkative. Yeah. They will slow you down. Talkative. They will make you doubt yourself. Talkative. God is working so talkative. Will stop you from seeing talkative. What God is doing. Talkative. So move away.
This is Starr Radio UK.
People will stop you from seeing what God is doing. So move away from talkative.
So right to say some talkative. All of these lies they're making on you. Teacher will get them when he comes. You have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
Time no day. Time no day.
So write these names of talkative.
So write these names of talkatives.
All of these lies they're making on you.
Teacher will have them when he comes.
Teacher will get them when he comes. You have a race. No time to waste.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenating, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep. This is Starr Radio UK. This is their favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. With the time now exactly at 11:25. And my apologies and sincere apologies to every one of you here on air right now, watching us live, because the program will finish at 12 o'clock. Yes, a technical team has come in to do something for us that is. They need to check something out for us because of some noise that was coming in, so that we can bring you everything the way they're supposed to be. So please bear with us. But Monday, God willing, will bring you a full program. But let's quickly go. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't bring you everything that you need to know. I'm definitely going to be doing that. Thank you very much, Mr. Tabiri, CEO of their accountancy services, our money man, who was supposed to be with us during that time for the money hour, But this we have to call it off because of the engineers coming to do this work for us. Well, interestingly, we did talk about the fact that there were some deaths that happened. At least 4 persons died on Wednesday while watching the semi-finals match between the Super Eagles and Bafana of South Africa on the ongoing 2023 African Cup of Nations. The deceased include a chieftain of the ruling Progressive Party. Yesterday, I did talk about him and a few people. But so, what has been the cause? Is it just people having heart attacks and dizzy spells and all that? Because that means that there are underlying issues I mean, due to what we call it, the fact that you've not gone to check it, might have brought about that. Now, Osondu Nwoye, it was reported that a billionaire allegedly died in Ivory Coast Stadium while watching the match. Nwoye was said to be the richest Igbo businessman based in Ivory Coast before his death. So a few like that. And a 43-year-old man as well, Mikael Osondiji, also allegedly died. So what has been the cause of all that? If you don't have the heart, why do you go to watch things like that? Oh, well, it's quite an interesting one, you know. Well. Let's move on. A couple of stories, then we'll move on straight from there because, as I said, because of the work that has to be done here, we have to rush and complete the program. The House of Representatives Speaker, Tajudeen Abbas, has called on the security agencies to carry out a thorough investigation of corruption allegation against Femi Gbajabiamila. Gbajabiamila, the chief of staff to the president, has been alleged to be involved in corruption allegation that suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs Betta Edu was being investigated for. But Abba dismissed the allegation against Gbajabiamila as unfounded while calling on Nigerians to desist from spreading fake news. Tajudeen Abbas, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, has asked security agencies to commence an investigation on the corruption allegation leveled against Femi Gbajabiamila, the Chief of Staff to the President. Gbajabiamila, who was the immediate past Speaker of the House, has been accused of corruption that involved the suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu. Some news network are picking up. Now, speaking on the allegation, Abbas called on Nigerians to desist from spreading fake news and make constructive criticism so that government officials can be properly made accountable. He posted that the allegation against the president's chief of staff can undermine the democracy of the country. The Zaria-born politician said information on social media could endanger the reputation of an individual or an organization, adding that they are targeted at political opponents. Now, Abbas said Gbajabiamila was just one of the millions of Nigerians facing cyberbullying and daily coordinated defamation. He stressed that many of the victims did not have the privilege enjoyed by the former speaker. So that is that for that. Let's see what happens. Will that bring about Gbajabiamila? I mean, I'm saying now, you know what? Let's sleeping dogs lie or what? In another story making the round. Okay, I was looking for this story where the president is alleged to be, begging the labor unions, labor unions from going on strike. He says that, well, with everything that is going on, we have you have to cope with us. You have to bear with us so that we can get to the place that we really want to get to. However, we know information coming through says that the labor unions were planning to go on a strike. And the president is now begging them. Would they call it a bluff? Not call it a bluff. Would they still embark on the strike? And as a stalemate, where the president cannot make any move? Do you think that is a fair assessment of the situation? Let us know about that. Listen to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. The government has ordered 100,000 metric tons of grains to be released and have warned, cautioned people who want to be hoarding foodstuff like that as a temporary response to nation's growing food crisis and the rising price of commodities. President Bola Tinubu on Thursday ordered the immediate release of more than 102,000 metric tons of various grains types from the Strategic Reserves and Rice Millers Association of Nigeria. The government warned that those hoarding foodstuff will be dealt with. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, revealed this to State House correspondent after the final leg of 3 meetings of the Special Presidential Committee on Emergency Food Intervention at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja, on Thursday. Well, so why are they hot? I mean, again, it's stockpiling. So just in case something happens, you are able to fall on that. That's what they seem to be doing. But what do you think about that? It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Updates from Nigeria. Okay. Due to our time, so I think we might have to bring that update there to a close. My apologies for that, so that we can finish the program by 12 o'clock. We can sign off by 12 o'clock due to what is happening. And again, I will caution Nigerians, those who have not got a hat, not to go watch any of the final tournament, because if that happens, oh boy, if even semi-finals, call people to die. Because their hearts could not hold or stand whatever was going on. Oh boy. Okay, in other stories making the rounds as well. Well, with the Sudan crisis that is going on, at least 30 Sudanese migrants died and 27 others are believed missing after the small metal boat sank Thursday off the Tunisian coast as they sought to cross the Mediterranean to reach Europe. According to local authorities, the Tunisian Coast Guard was able to rescue just 2 people from the capsized boat 14 kilometers, 9 miles off the coast of the port of Sheba, and is searching for those missing. Regional court spokesperson Farid Ben Jar said the survivors said a total of 42 people were aboard, all from Sudan. Well. So you have these people fighting, and the repercussion of that fight, or ramification of that fight, is people trying to flee the country and getting killed in the seas or on the seas. In Freetown, rush hour means gridlock streets and scramble for transport means to get to and from work. Unlike developed cities where public transport is a mix of subway, trams, trains, buses, Sierra capital entirely relies on road transport. 14-seater minibuses are the most common transport means. They are like for their affordable fares, but without dedicated lanes, they are dangerously slow. Motorcycles, taxis are preferred for their ability to navigate traffic. We face a lot of challenges, especially coming all the way from Wilberforce. That is a neighborhood in West Freetown, said one traveler there. And it says, I often find it difficult because I tend to arrive late for classes. The first school bell rings at 7:30 a.m. local time, and by the time I get there, it's already 9 a.m. So what do? Do we push this to the first bell, as they call it, to a later time so that people can get in there? But it's not their doing. So because if we all decide to leave early, we'll be facing that. But what do we do? Okay, listen to Starr Radio UK. In other parts of Africa as well, the coup hit nations of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are in haste to quit West African regional bloc without following its rules of exits. Now, the body said Thursday as its ministers met to deliberate on growing divisions and political tensions in the region. At the ministerial meeting in the Nigerian capital Abuja, the bloc known as ECOWAS faulted claims made by the countries, jointers, that their unprecedented decision to withdraw their membership was because of the coup-related sanctions the bloc imposed on their countries instead of supporting their development and peace efforts. And I've said it time and time and over again that when things like this are happening, what does this body do to address the issues? When you see leadership, corruption going on in the country, people using all legal acrobatics to actually to wait people to do all sorts. What are they? What do they do about that? The president of the ECOWAS Commission, Omar Aliou Toure, told reporters at the meeting that the country's hasty decision did not follow the requirements stated by the association protocol, including a 1-year notice period before such a process could be completed. More importantly, the 3 member states have not reflected on the implication of this decision on the citizens, Toure said. Separately, senior government officials in the junta-led countries on Wednesday dismissed possible talks with ECOWAS over the issue, further diminishing any hopes of dialogue to resolve the crisis. Well. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I wanted to bring in the call by the president of Nigeria that there should be a recital of the national pledge to commence every national gathering of a sort. But I will leave that because of our time. I have to leave that and get on. Now, when it comes to South Africa as well, I did talk about that yesterday. Well, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa delivered his annual State of the Nation's address on Thursday, using it as a platform to list the ruling African National Congress achievements over the past 30 years. The party, which has been in power since the first post-apartheid democratic elections in 1994, is heading into its most challenging campaign as the country prepares to vote later this year. Now, several polls have suggested that the ANC could lose its majority for the first time, forcing it to go into coalition to stay in power in what will be a landmark moment for South Africa politics. Now, in his nearly 2-hour address, Ramaphosa insisted the party was making progress in addressing the country's problems, including record unemployment and ongoing electricity crisis and corruption allegations. South Africa's previous president Jacob Zuma, who led the ANC from 2009 to 2018, is accused of overseeing a period of rampant corruption which became known as the state capture, when state-owned entities were stripped bare by graft and mismanagement. Well, listeners, lots more going to be coming your way from there. So coming your way from Starr Radio UK, it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to be moving on because of our time. Well, let me put this one across and then we can move on from there. The information coming through says that the Economic Community of West African States has convened an emergency meeting to address pressing issues across the region. Among the key concerns are the political turmoil in Senegal. ECOWAS has faced criticism for its handling of recent events, including postponement of Senegal's presidential election, despite urging Dakar to adhere to the original electoral timetable. Doubts linger over the organization's effectiveness in influencing member states. The credibility of ECOWAS is under scrutiny, especially following the coup in Niger last July. Calls for military intervention have waned, and leaving former President Mohamed Bazoum detained without reinstatement, raising concerns about the organization's efficacy and addressing political upheavals. Now, do you think we should countries in that part of the world to continue to be paying whatever contributions that they pay as their fee to belonging to such a body? Somebody asked the question, what can that body do? It is Starr Radio UK 1141. Let's go straight to Ghana as well. Interestingly, Gashatini has made a statement, and that is ruffling a lot of feathers there. But Asante Ino 2482 the second says no secret plot against Asante Kingdom by any group of people, including the government, politicians, and other tribes in the country, will succeed. Speaking during the Deba on Thursday, 8th of February, that's yesterday, to climax the 150 years celebration of the Sagaranti War, dubbed the Kuntunkuni Festival in Manshia, for urge Ghanaians to unite for a common purpose to promote national growth built on the foundation of peace. He explained that formerly the Ashanti Kingdom was not part of the Gold Coast, but now we are part of the rule. We are part and rule the kingdom under the Supreme 1992 Constitution of Ghana. We respect the laws and we are living peacefully in the country. So where from the hatred and the anti-Ashanti agenda, he asked. The Ashanti monarch, however, issued a cautionary statement against politicians and anyone secretly fashioning foul plots against Ashanti in Ghana. Otunfuo emphasized that the Ashanti man is indestructible. Evidence of this resides in the story of the Sagaranti War of the 1874. Otunfuo noted that the golden stool houses the soul of the kingdom, and with its existence retains Asante man, making it indestructible. Asante is alive. 150 years ago, the whites destroyed this city, but the golden stool remained. Various kinds of guns came to Kumasi, but the golden stool remained untouched. So far as the golden stool remains, no one can touch Asante man. It is the soul of the Asante man, and Nananom use their blood to protect it. Now you will be overcome if you decide to take our Asante. Take out Asante. All those who plot against the kingdom must stop. We live here in love. Politicians must know that power is transient. Use love to rule. If you rely on your power, remember that your time will end soon. Who is he speaking to or talking to? Now, he also decried the perceived hostility against Asantes by some Ghanaians, as he indicated that Asante man is welcoming and home to different ethnic groups. These ethnic groups have become a part of the Asante Kingdom due to the warm hospitality of the host. The Zongos are on one hand, on our land, we live in peace. Ewes are here, and we have Anoga here, as well as Fantis, Newtown for Fantis. Where is our love being reciprocated with hatred? Now let's be united. All political parties must know that without Ashanti, Ghana cannot stand. We are not above anyone. We are equals, but I won't allow anyone to cheat us. Leaning on history, Otunfuo stated that Asante joined the Gold Coast to become a part of the Ghana after a promise to make the country a monarchical state in which the Asante man will be the ceremonial head during attempts by the then Gold Coast to seek independence. But what did we see? They, did them some U-turn there. Let me put it that way, mildly. But interestingly, we have the Yorubas who talk about that. They talk about the fact that they too, when the agreement, yes, there was that agreement by the colonial masters to put things together in a way so that they can have that state and all that. But you know what? It didn't happen. And what is happening now? They want out because they think they are being maligned. And let's look at the issue where they're talking about moving the airports back to not the airport, but some of the aviation offices, some of the aviation offices to Lagos, and the banter that seemed to be going on there. What do you think about all that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Thank you very much for joining in. As I did say, because of the early stop of the program, we will be bringing the program to a close pretty soon in the next 14 minutes. So just bear with me whilst I go through all the others. And thank you very much to each and every one of you who have joined in this morning. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on to some of the story making the rounds in other parts of the world. Now, do you think Joe Biden will be the right candidate for Americans, especially looking at his age and his memory? He's saying his memory is fine. However, a moment after saying that, he sort of goofed. Let me put it that way, mildly. The U.S. President Joe Biden has hit back angrily at an investigation that found he mishandled top secret files and struggled to recall key live events. My memory is fine, he insisted in a surprise news briefing. He gave an emotional response to a claim that he could not recollect when his son died, saying, "How the hell dare he raise that?" The inquiry found Mr. Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified files, but decided not to charge him. The Department of Justice Special Counsel Robert Hur determined Mr. Biden had improperly kept classified documents related to military and foreign policies in Afghanistan after serving as vice president. The scathing 345-page report released earlier in the day said the president's memory had a significant limitation. Even as Mr. Biden sought to rebut reporters' questions about his age and mental acuity, he inadvertently referred to Egyptian's leader Abdel Fattah al-Sisi as the president of Mexico. Asked to comment on the latest in the Israel-Gaza war, he said, "I think, as you know, initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gates to allow humanitarian material to get in." So it was like out, because the Gaza war has got nothing to do with Mexico, and saying that Sisi is the president of Mexico makes the whole thing, as some would say in my parlance, busy basa. But do you think that he's the right person to still lead the country? And the question that is on the lips of most people is it that the what do we call them? The Democrats have not got a good candidate? Is it that the Vice President Harris, Kamala Harris, is not suitable enough to run head to head with Donald Trump? Especially, first of all, being a woman, and secondly, being a mixed race person. What do you think about that? The special counsel, a Republican appointed to the role by Biden Attorney General Merrick Garland, said Mr. Biden could not recall when he was vice president from 2009 to 2017, or even within several years when his son Bill died, as in 2015. Now, at Thursday's night news conference, an emotional Mr. Biden lashed out at the passages, casting doubt on his recollection of events. Now, frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, it was none of their damn business. He said, "I don't need anyone to remind me when that is Bill Biden, passed away." He said he was very occupied in the middle of handling an international crisis when he was interviewed by the special counsel from the 8th to the 9th of October last year, just as the Israel-Gaza war erupted. The inquiry also said Mr. Biden had shared some of the sensitive materials from handwritten notebooks with a ghostwriter for his memoir, a finding that the president denied from the podium. The special counsel concluded it would be difficult to convict the president of improper handling of files because at trial Mr. Biden will likely present himself to a jury as he did during our interviews of him as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. Opinion polls indicate that President's age is a concern for U.S. voters ahead of November's White House election. But Mr. Biden told reporters on Thursday he was the most qualified candidate. Has he turned himself to some African politician who never want to step down but go on? Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. There's lots of happenings there. Okay. Let me touch on Donald Trump's, and then we can go to Russia and then come to the UK, and then we bring the program to a close. Now, former President Donald Trump has won the Nevada Republican caucus by a large margin. The only other person whose name was on the ballot was Ryan Binkley, a pastor and businessman. It means Mr. Trump will take all Nevada's 26 delegates, a system used by parties to determine their presidential candidates. Initial results showed the former president gained over 99% of the vote. 99%. Now, briefly addressing a victory party in Las Vegas, Donald Trump said, "If we win the state, we easily win the election in November." He has now won contests in 3 states, Nevada, Iowa, and New Hampshire, making him the presumptive Republican candidate in November's general election. He also won a Republican caucus in the U.S. Virgin Islands and unincorporated territory. Now, Donald Trump's only serious challenger left in the race, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, had opted not to take part in the Nevada caucus and to appear in the state's primary vote instead. 2 separate ballots were held in Nevada because of the dispute between the state Republican Party and the Democrat-controlled state legislature. In Tuesday, as primary, Nikki Haley was beaten by the none of these candidates option, but the result was symbolic, as the state's Republican Party had decided that only the results of the caucus could count towards the selection of the presidential candidate. Associated Press reported that about 48,400 people voted for Mr. Trump compared to 381 for his rival Ryan Binkley. Well. What do you think about all that? Okay. Now, Vladimir Putin lectured, joked, and occasionally snarled, but not at his host. Now, Tucker Carlson laughed, listened, and then listened some more. Now, during the Americans' much hyped encounter with the Russian president, his fixed, fascinated expressions slipped a few times, especially when Putin's promise of a 30-second history lesson became a 30-something minutes rant. But for the most part, Carlson seemed to lap up with Russia's president was telling him Putin was fully in charge of this encounter, and for a large part of it, his interviewer barely got a word in. Instead of pushing the Russian leader, indicted as suspected war criminal, on his full-scale invasion of Ukraine and challenging his foe's assertion, Carlson swept off fists to talk God and the Russian soul. The American had touted his sit-down with Putin as a triumph for free speech, asserting that he was heading where no Western news outlets dared to tread. That's untrue. The Kremlin is simply highly selective about who Putin speaks to. It will almost always choose someone who knows neither the country nor the language, and so struggle over to challenge him. The Carlson's claim also ignored the fact that Russia's president had spent the past 2 decades in power, systematically stamping out free speech at home. And most recently, he made it a crime to tell the truth about Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. And multiple critics, Vladimir Kara-Murza, Ilya Yashin, and many more, are in prison right now for doing just that. It was a full 2 hours into his interview before the former Fox News anchor asked about the U.S. journalist Ivan Gershkovich. He was arrested last year in Russia while doing his job and accused of espionage. Now, Carlson suggested Vladimir Putin might release the reporter into his custody, providing a trophy to return with from his trip. Now, what Putin gave was the strongest hint yet of what he wants in return. He talked about Russian patriots who had eliminated a bandit in a European capital, seeming to be confirmed previous report that Russia is demanding a prisoner swap with Vladimir Krasikov. The assassin, suspected Russian intelligence agent, killed a Chechen separatist in a Berlin park in 2019. Putin claimed negotiations are underway and an agreement could be reached. We already know those complicated talks are not new, involve 3 countries and likely at least 2 American prisoners. The whole encounter in the Kremlin opened with a history lecture. Putin wrote a long essay before the war that denied Ukraine's existence as a sovereign state. He now appears to have learned it by heart. He delivered his thesis, eyes burning with conviction, as cousin own burn with boredom and disbelief. Wow. He believes in his course, and he said, I'm going to use 30 seconds to tell you exactly what is going on, but ended up using how many minutes? 30 minutes to lecture him on some history of Russia. Well, listen, it's Starr Radio UK. One other story from the UK front, and then we'll bring the program to a close, as I have said. Now, Prince Harry's hacking case hearing is more, if more claims are settled. The judge tells Mirror Group newspaper that it has to pay costs relating to the part of the case that covers general claims of unlawful activity brought by Sanderson, Turner, and Whitman. He says all 3 succeeding in proving that shocking and dishonest way Mirror Group newspaper had acted. Mr. Justice Fancourt also mentioned that there are still 100 other claimants waiting in the in the wings, because it demonstrates the financial challenge MGN now faces. The pressure will be on to settle these cases too. So what a thing. Settling the case, that bring the hacking problem to an end? Well, okay. Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One final story, and I bring the program to a close. Now, Dover health chiefs are on the brink of major legal action against the government over plans to end checks for potentially dangerous foods at the UK's most important ferry terminals. They warn that illegal food could reach the British plate if commercial lorry inspections are moved 22 miles inland. Officials fear the changes are a consequence of Brexit smash a hole in the UK's biosecurity measures. The government says the new inland facility will ensure biosecurity, but Dover District Council and its Port Health Authority are urging the government to pause the plan, saying it breaks their legal duties to keep the UK's food supply safe. Amid fears the move could increase the risk of disease. The legal threat to the government will mean asking the High Court to rule whether ministers have broken a series of laws, including full considering evidence of the risk. It comes after months of behind-the-scenes argument over the government's post-Brexit plans for a new commercial food checking system at 17 near Ashford. The facility, 22 miles from Dover, will be used to inspect goods in lorries in the hope of intercepting illegal and dangerous food stuff before they reach UK industry and shops. Are you scared about that? Well, listeners, I have to bring the program to a close because the technical team are going to take over now to sort out those issues that is going on. A few of our presenters say that when they, yes, there are some echo. Some of our listeners do say that, and we're going to be making sure that they deal with that for us. So wherever you are, let me say once again, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, or this morning. It's morning. It's now afternoon though, for this live program that came your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Once I get myself ready to bring the program to a close, just hold on for a moment. Let me take a quick commercial break, and I will bring you some music before I end the program. So stay tuned and don't you go away.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from Sendwave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep. Okay, listeners, let me say thank you very much for joining us once again. I'll bring you a pre-recorded version of the Money Hour with Mr. Dan Tabiri, which was aired last week. So just bear with us whilst we get ourselves ready to do so. But it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Thank you very much for joining us. At the moment, I'm going to take a sit back, and then we're going to bring you the pre-recorded version, and then we'll continue. After that, we'll bring the program to a close from there. So stay tuned and don't you go away. It is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Wedding bells go one day you one day you blow, your wedding bells will ring. One day you win the paper, you pass it again. First class is waiting for you. International scholarship is coming. Scholarship, yes, it's coming. You come out of your own house. One day you shall go ride your own car. One day you win.
See whether Mr. Tabiri can hear me. Hello, Mr. Tabiri.
Hello, good afternoon. Hey, loud and clear.
Yes, good afternoon to you. How are you doing?
I am doing great.
We thank God. We thank God. Listeners, that is our money man, Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services. For all your accounting issues, I say it all the time, look no further. Just get in touch with him, and he will tell you everything that you need to do or help your hand out as to how to battle anything when it comes to your finances. But this afternoon, he's here on the Money Hour, which takes place every Friday. And today is a Friday, and therefore he's made a time to be here. Not the first one for the year, a live first one for the year. And we will welcome you once again to the program, Mr. Tabiri.
Thank you very much, and happy New Year, everyone.
Yes, Happy New Year. And we are
there's a bit of a feedback. I don't know.
Let me try to work on that. I think people have been complaining about that. Let me try to see whether is it much better now?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay. Well, listeners, Mr. Dan Tabiri, for you, we'll be going to him to look at our discussions for today. And what have you slated for us today, sir?
Yeah, so today's a new year. There's some feedback I can hear myself.
Okay. Just bear with me. You go on once I fix that.
Okay. Yeah. So we want to just touch on some individuals who stay and do not have to pay any tax on any benefits, any allowances that are available in the UK taxes.
Okay.
So it's important to specify for the benefit of the listeners that this only applies to the UK taxes.
Okay. Listeners, Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of JL Accountancy Services, for you. And as I just announced earlier on before we came on, I said that the discussions are eligible or applies to the UK finances or financial rules, not to any other country, please. So, but if you want to, you are learning and therefore you are listening to us, you want to do something about that, or you want to learn and know what goes on here, feel free to do so. Okay, so income and benefits. Now, everybody wants free money, as you know. So if you say, well, there are some incomes and some benefits that are free from tax, people want to know. So which are some of them, sir?
Yeah, it's important to know. So when we talk about tax-free income, basically income that you don't have to pay tax on.
Mm-hmm.
So HMRC permits the British public to earn income tax-free in the form of certain allowances or tax relief. So an allowance is an amount of money that you can earn tax-free, and a relief is a tax reduction you claim from HMRC, either by paying less tax or having tax rebate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's look at some of the income tax rates and bands we have in the UK for individuals. So as you know, up to 12,570 of income is tax-free for everyone who is earning below £100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Between £100,000, 125,000, 140,000, you start to lose your better allowance. So anything after 125,000, you don't have any personal allowance at all.
Okay.
The full rate of your personal tax on all your income.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then we have the basic rate. So the basic rate is earning between £12,571 and £50,270. That income would be taxed at 20%.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the higher rate of. So the higher rate of income is 40% tax rate. So any income falling between £50,271 up to £125,140
Mm-hmm.
is taxed at 40%.
Okay.
And then we have an additional rate. This additional rate is the incomes above £125,000 to £140,000. And this is taxed at 45%.
Okay.
Yeah. So everyone who earns over 12,570, whether they are employed or self-employed, is entitled to 12,570 of tax-free income as a personal allowance. So your personal allowance represents tax-free income. Yeah. Apart from that, there are also some allowances for individuals which can go through.
Okay.
So we have what we call a trading allowance.
Yeah, trading allowance.
And this applies, yes, a trading allowance. This applies to self-employed individuals. So you have a self-employed business, and your total income from that business within the year, if it's less than £1,000, then you are exempt from tax income.
Okay.
So if you have income less than £1,000 in a year, so you're doing maybe you are self-employed, you're selling some bits on eBay or Amazon and things like that, or doing some small trading here and there, you're selling some cosmetics to your friends and family, etc. If your profits are less than £1,000, you do not have to declare that in a tax return because they are exempt income.
Okay, so let's hold on for a minute there, because some people are interested and they want to know exactly. Now, if you say you don't have to declare that, that means that you don't need to file any tax returns to show that, look, I didn't earn that at all. You don't need to do that, or you have to file a tax return to show that, look, I didn't earn that much.
You don't have to even file a tax return.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You can file it if you want to, but it's not required.
Okay. Now, what if the person is earning some money? Because that's been one of the stories, one of the issues that's been going on. People saying that now, if you sell on some part-time business, you have your main course, now you have a part-time thing that they may be selling, trading on eBay or Alibaba and all those things, and then it's a additional income that you are making from there. Do you have to declare that? And let's say you don't go beyond 1,500, do you get it for free, or what do you do?
Yeah, so if the level of trading is less than £1,000, then it falls under the trading allowance exemption.
Okay.
You do not have to declare it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Go on, sir.
And then there's also the property allowance. So individuals who earn income from a property, this is not renting a room in your own home. So if you rent, you rent a property either as a joint owner or as an individual owner, and your gross rental income is less than £1,000. Again, you do not have to declare this income, and it's tax-free.
Okay.
Yeah. So the tax exemption is up to £1,000. But what it means is that you earn £2,000. It doesn't mean £1,000 tax-free.
If you earn 2,000, it doesn't mean 1,000 is tax free. Okay, interesting. But there again, too, let me ask the question there. Now, you said not the home that you are living in, not inside your house, but outside. So, what about maybe you have one spare room and you've rented it out? A bed sit. I mean, how does that turn out?
So there's a special allowance for that.
Okay.
Under the rent a room scheme.
Okay.
So if you rent out a room in your own house where you're living, you have an allowance up to $7,500 a year, tax free.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's an exemption for that, because if you're claiming under a rent a room, then you are still required to file a tax return.
Oh, okay.
But you'd have to declare the income under the exemption and claim the allowance.
Okay. Thank you. An explanation. All right, go on, sir.
Okay, and then there's also a capital gains allowance. So individuals who earn income from selling assets. So if you sell a house, you sell a property, or any type of chattels, then if you make a gain or a profit, you sell a business, and you make a profit, the first 6,000 is tax-free.
Okay.
So, for example, if you make a gain of 20,000, then the first 6,000 is tax-free, which means that you only have to pay capital gains tax success on 14,000.
Okay.
And then we also have marriage allowance. I think we've spoken a lot about marriage allowance in the past. It is still available and it's still around, and people who qualify would need to take advantage of it. Yeah. So marriage allowance is where a couple where one is paying tax in the basic rate band, and the other person in the relationship has income less than the personal allowance of 12,500. They can, because they are not using their personal allowance, they can transfer up to £260 of their personal allowance to the other partner, either the husband, the wife, or the civil partner.
Okay.
And this reduces the tax by up to £260 in a year. And I have to reiterate and emphasize that this allowance can be carried back for 4 years.
Okay.
So if you haven't claimed the allowance and you qualify for the past 4 years, you can put in a claim and HMRC will send you a check straight away. It's about £1,000.
Okay, just hold on for me. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. At 10 minutes to the top of the hour. But we have got Mr. Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, Money Man, with us today. And we are looking at, some income and benefits that are tax-free. Who doesn't like money? Everybody wants a bit of relief when it comes to the monies, right? Okay, every little help, as Tesco says. So he's trying to just throw more light on everything that you need to know, and he's gone through a few of them. But stay tuned, don't you go away. If you have got any questions or even any questions pertaining to other issues, feel free to send them in, and I'll put it across to him. But until then, hold on while Mr. Tabiri takes over. Over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you. So, still running through the allowances that are available. We also have a dividend allowance. So any individuals who own shares in a company will take any dividend. There's an allowance for this dividend. So in 2022, 2023, the allowance was £2,000. So you can earn up to £2,000 and you don't have to pay any tax on it. So if you earn a dividend of £10,000, the first £2,000 are free. From the year 2023-2024 onwards, this allowance has been reduced to £1,000. Yeah. So any dividends you receive, the 10,000 is tax-free. This includes dividends on shares, items, and the likes of investments. And then, so that's the dividend allowance. And then we also have savings interest allowance. So this is where all basic and higher rate taxpayers can earn up to £1,000 of interest tax-free. So you don't pay any. So if you have money sitting in your bank account or any type of account where interest is paid to you, you can earn up to £1,000 in interest without any tax impacts on you. So,
Yes, go on, sir, go on.
Also to add that any interest earned on ISAs are completely tax-free. Don't pay any taxes at all.
Okay. Yes, I wanted to find out that has it happened that somebody might have paid taxes on issues like that and had gone back to the Internal Revenue and had gotten a rebate or his money paid back? Does that happen at all, or it doesn't?
Yes, it can happen. So, for example, if you earn interest income from different sources, and it has been taxed, you would have to file a tax return.
Okay.
To claim some of the tax back if you haven't received the full benefits of your £1,000 tax-free allowance.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Go on.
So that can be applied for through a tax and you get your money back.
Okay.
Yeah. Then there's also what we call tax relief on income. So exemptions or relief that HMRC can give you that reduces your tax. We know in the UK, pension schemes provide us with some tax relief. So you can pay into your pensions from this current tax year £60,000 into your pensions, and this will be tax-free. This will not attract any tax on you.
Okay.
Actual fact, for a self-employed person, you would receive it as a tax, as an expense and income deduction from your income.
Okay, that's interesting.
If you make a personal contribution as well for any tax year in your tax return, you claim relief on any pension contributions at 20%. If you are a higher rate taxpayer. Again, if you are a higher rate taxpayer and you make tax donations to charities under the Gift Aid scheme, which allows charities to claim back 25% of every donation that you make, HMRC would also give you back the difference between the 40% and the 25% that they're giving back to the charity. So the charity gets 25%, and then you get the 15% back.
Okay.
So if you're a higher rate taxpayer, you pay tax a 40% bracket, and you have been given to a charity, and you may be entitled to some tax back. You can only get it by filing a tax return.
Oh, okay.
And then also there are other types of allowance available. There is what we call a seed enterprise investment, which is available, allows small business startups be able to raise funding investors. So let's say I am an investor and a small business or startup company needs funding or investment in their business. If I invest in their business or buy shares in that company, I am allowed to claim back a percentage of that investment as a tax deduction. This, if you have a pot of money sitting somewhere that you don't have an immediate use for, or you want to invest somewhere but you're not sure, then this becomes a very good avenue, one, to earn an interest on investment, and also to be able to get some tax.
Interesting.
Other benefits which people would consider as income, things like disability living allowance, child benefit, child tax credit, and all other benefits in the UK are tax free. You don't pay any tax on it. Things like premium bond prices, lottery wins, national savings and investment bonds, all are tax free. Any income from any of these. So I hope that this is important to open our eyes to some of the tax-free income opportunities out there that we can take an advantage of.
Wow. Listeners, Starr Radio UK, Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, our money man. And today he's put across all that you need to know when it comes to some allowances and some benefits that are tax-free. He's enumerated them all there. But if you want to know more, you can go back to our broadcast that's on the YouTube, on the Facebook, and all the social media platforms that we're broadcasting on, and re-listen to it. It will help you a great deal. And Mr. Tabiri, there's a question that somebody's asking. It's asking if he's a pensioner. I mean, he's paid taxes all the while, and now he's going on pension. Now, if he started claiming his pension, does he have to pay tax on it?
Unfortunately, yes. So, yes, pension income. So when you are working in your working life, you receive allowances for your pension contribution.
Yep.
So you don't pay tax when you put money away in your pension.
Okay.
You get tax relief on it. When you retire and you are receiving that money as income, that is taxable.
Okay.
So any pension income you receive over and above your personal allowance, unfortunately, you have to pay.
Well, that is for your information. Those who wanted to know who's in that issue in. Okay. Listeners, Starr Radio UK. Before we go, as I did say in the introduction, he's not just our money man who sits and presents you with all the information that you need to know, but he's an accountant. He runs a firm. He is the CEO of GIL Accountancy Services. Okay. How I pronounce it? Yeah. You want to get in touch with, yes, you want to get in touch with him, and he will see to address any issue pertaining to your accounts, whether you are filing your account, whether it's a company or personal, whatever it is. He's there to hold your hands or direct you as what to do. But you can only do so when he puts his contact across to you. So Mr. Tabiri, can you tell listeners your contact and how they can get in touch with you, sir?
Right, thank you. My telephone number is 07961248834. It's 07961248834. You can reach me on that call, and I'm not available. Leave me a message. I'll call you back, or you can text. You can also reach me by email at dan@gilaccountants.com. It's accountants with an S.
Okay. Once again, Mr. Tabiri, let me say thank you very much for this wonderful time with you. I know our listeners, when you listen to this program, definitely you get some money in your pocket. And of course, they said, for lack of knowledge, my people perish. That's what the good book says. But well, he's here. He's brought you all the knowledge that you need to know when it comes to your personal allowances and some income and some benefits that are tax-free for you, and that puts money in your pocket, isn't it? You contact him, it's 07961248834. Mr. Tabiri, before you go.
Yes.
Yes, anything before you go, sir?
Just wishing your listeners a wonderful Friday and weekend. And we hope to meet again next week to discuss accounts and finance markets.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services. He's our money man. And today we've looked at income and benefits in the UK. That's considered tax-free. The UK is very, very important that you note that. Mr. Tabiri, so let me say thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will catch up later.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. Bye-bye. Well, Mr. Listener, that has been Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, all the way in Kent, bringing you the money hour. There were a bit of some noise, some connectivity issues in the background, but I hope just bear with me whilst the technical team try to sort all those things out. But this is where we bring the program to a close for today. It's been a pleasure coming your way once again, and this tomorrow morning, of course, exactly at 5:30, Reverend Michael Esiama and the team will be bringing you Command Your Morning. That's the Power Hour. Make sure your dials are logged on that you can enjoy that program as well. And come Sunday, there'll be live chat broadcasts coming your way as well. Faith Talk will also be coming your way. There is a new introduction of some programs. A couple of programs coming your way. We'll be letting you know about it. One is pertaining to our health, which will have one doctor who's going to be being with us, and to be telling you all that. And the other one will be what? Yes, something to do with those of you who are more religious. You want to know more? Yes. That is going to be coming your way. I'll be having some men of God, knowledgeable ones who will come and break the word of God to you. Break it down so that you understand it. But on that note, let me say thank you very much for joining in today, and I hope that you enjoy the program. Till I come your way on Monday with another edition of the morning show. It's been me, Archie, saying bye-bye for now. Okay? But enjoy this song. Another one from Kofi Boham, and it says, writing the names of talkers. When it ends and you don't hear from me, and it's been me, Archie, saying, have a good weekend, and bye-bye for now.